where the fun begins. God. Hello there, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Isabella, and I love all things Star Wars, whether it's fandom, collecting, fashion, reading, and I decided at the beginning of this year that I was going to read all of the Star Wars Legends books. I started the Dark Lord trilogy in June. Absolutely loved it. I read Labyrinth of Evil, and I actually posted a vlog, and to be honest, I don't know if any of my vlogs are ever gonna top that one because I went to Lucasfilm to watch Revenge of the Sith after I finished reading that book. Absolutely insane. So yeah, definitely go check that out. But today we are going to be starting the Revenge of the Sith novelization. Revenge of the Sith is my favorite Star Wars movie. Anakin Skywalker is my favorite character. And I'm gonna be honest, I've picked up this book many times. I've gotten about 50 pages in and have put it down. For whatever reason, I have just struggled to get into this book. I feel like it has a lot to do with me feeling like I don't want the story to be over, or I'm not really ready to say goodbye to these characters. And to be fair, we have seen Anakin and Obi-Wan's story continued in shows like the Kenobi series and the Ahsoka series, which I adore. But I don't know, there's just something that feels so final about reading this book, reading the novelization of my favorite Star Wars story, but we're gonna do it together. It might be a little hard to tell, but this copy is actually signed by Matthew Stover, which is insane. I got to meet him at Legacy Expo, which was formerly Legends Con, and I got to meet him and he signed this book. I was only able to talk to him briefly, but he was really nice, and I was kind of like shaking, like I didn't know what to say. I felt so silly. So with all that being said, I am so excited to finally sit down and read this book. This has been one of my most anticipated reads of all time. I've heard nothing but amazing things about this book. It adds so much more context and details to the story, especially with Padme and Anakin's relationship, which is one of my favorite aspects of Star Wars. So I'm not emotionally ready, but I don't think I ever will be, to be honest. So let's just do it. I'm going to try my best to keep this video spoiler free. I will talk about things that happened in the movie because that movie came out 20 years ago. I mean, so did the book. But most people have watched the movie but maybe haven't read the book, and I want this to encourage you to read it. So I'm not going to spoil anything that happens in the book but doesn't happen in the movie, if that makes sense. That being said, I am going to read you the first page because I think it really sets up this story in the most beautifully heartbreaking, longingly way. And honestly, I think it's a really good indication of how the book is overall. So it's kind of like a warning, honestly, if you cannot get past the first page, this book maybe isn't for you. You've probably heard this because the clip from the audiobook went viral a couple years ago, and it's literally just the narration of the first page. But there have been so many good edits to it that I'm just like, ugh. I feel like I need to go on TikTok and like rewatch these videos from 2022 when the Kenobi show was airing and we were all just crying over Anakin. Alas. This story happened a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It is already over. Nothing can be done to change it. It is the story of love and loss, brotherhood and betrayal, courage and sacrifice, and the death of dreams. It is a story of the blurred line between our best and our worst. It is a story of the end of an age. A strange thing about stories, though this all happened so long ago and so far away that words cannot describe the time or the distance, it is also happening right now, right here. It is happening as you read these words. This is how 25 millennia come to a close. Corruption and treachery have crushed 1,000 years of peace. This is not just the end of a republic. Night is falling on civilization itself. This is the twilight of the Jedi. The end starts now. Matthew, you're gonna make me cry? This is just the first page. It's not even the first page. It's like a prologue. It's like, the end is nigh. All I know is that I'm probably just gonna cry most of this vlog, so. Skywalker is the master of audacity. Truer words have never been spoken. Skywalker is the master of audacity. His intensity, boldness, and sheer jaw-dropping luck are the perfect complement to Kenobi's deliberate, balanced steadiness. Together, they are a Jedi hammer that has crushed separatist infestations on scores of worlds. That introduction alone was so good. I feel like I was in the movie. I'm so excited to read this, honestly. I'm hoping I'll be able to just sit down and like power through the first at least like 100 pages today, hopefully. I'm not sure. I just got to the part with the formation of the delegation of 2000, which is one of my favorite scenes of Padme's, which unfortunately was deleted, but I still consider it canon. So, let's do this. This is my husband, and he's going to show you his book haul, and you're going to pay attention. You're going to enjoy it, okay? All right.
I got this one again. I already have this one, but the one I have is like completely destroyed. So this is the first in the Young Jedi Knights series, and it's actually really good. It's like prior to New Jedi Order series. So it's like Jaina and Jason when they're growing up and training on Yavin. It's got like all the foil.
That is a really nice cover.
It's a beautiful cover. That's why I got it. It's like $3, so. And then I've never had these, but I've always heard they're really good. So
those are like old books, right?
Yeah. So this is like the two of the Han Solo books. That Star's End is supposed to be really, really good. And then I've always loved the cover of this one. I have no idea what the story is about. This is also like where they got like the crystal skull for Indiana Jones. I love the Tales novels. I never had these. I only ever had the Tales, the Bounty Hunters. But I always wanted the Jabba's Palace and the Mos Eisley Cantina ones. So here we go. Children of the Jedi. Also one that I like pretty much know the story, but I never actually read it.
Wow.
Because I didn't have it.
Wow.
You know how hard it was to find?
Fake fan.
Yeah. With Barbara Hambley. I've always wanted the hardcover of this. Shadow Hunter. Sick as hell. Another Barbara Hambley.
Nice.
Which is a beautiful cover, like one of the only ones you get to see Jedi Leia. And with her yellow lightsaber, and it's literally the same hilt as Luke's and Obi-Wan's. So hardcover was not something I was going to let go. So
nice.
That is.
What a haul.
And that was my TED Talk.
And he's already shopping before the show started.
Whatever. I already made half of it back. So.
Okay.
I was honestly my favorite Sith from the series, so I had to do some.
More Anadala. Hello there. I'm so excited to finally be back home. I've been traveling a lot for work, which has been so much fun. But it's just nice to be back home and hey, this is my YouTube, not your YouTube. It is just so nice to finally be home and be able to rest and relax and read more, because I did try to read as much as I could when we were in Dallas, but it was just, kind of nonstop. I actually got to go to a special event with Amazon at San Diego Comic-Con to help launch the new Kindle Colorsoft, which is designed for comic books, which is really, really cool. But of course, you can just read regular novels on this. And at the end of the night, they sent us home with our own Kindle Colorsoft. So that was really sweet of them. So thank you again, Amazon, for this. I've been loving it. I really enjoyed having this with me while we were in Dallas because I could also highlight things and write notes. I love highlighting, but I will never do it in a signed copy. That would just I just couldn't do it. So that was really nice because I got to highlight while I was reading, and I can go back to it and maybe talk about those scenes at the end of this vlog where Padme and Anakin are at her apartment and they're talking about the baby and kind of like making plans and everything. And I wanted to record my reaction because I know that this is one of those moments that in the book there's a lot more details than there is in the movie, and I just think it's gonna make me emo. So let's read together. I just got to the scene where Anakin and Palpatine go to the opera, and this is a very important moment in the story. Of course, Palpatine is talking to Anakin about the Jedi and the Sith and how they're not so different, and he's really jumbling Anakin's thoughts and just confusing him even further. And he's pretty much trying to convince him that, like, maybe the Sith aren't so bad. Maybe the Sith just do things differently, but, like, the Jedi just want power. How is that different from the Sith? Like, they're not so bad. And obviously, I just butchered that. Like, Palpatine is a lot more eloquent and convincing. He's pretty good at that, but it just really shows you how Anakin slowly starts to get more and more confused about what is right and what is wrong and what he should be doing and his involvement in everything. And just reading this, you're just sitting here like, oh my god, Anakin, I know you mean well, but don't do it. I'm now on chapter 13, which I realized is the chapter where Obi-Wan goes and visits Padme. Pretty much tells her that he knows about her and Anakin. So this is going to be interesting. This is probably the most tea we're going to get in the whole story. So this does not happen in the movie. This must have been a deleted scene. And I don't want to spoil it, but Palpatine is doing the shit he always does, and this is not going to end well. I'm shook. You guys, I'm trying not to be mad, but this is kind of making me mad that this was another deleted scene that had to do with Padme. Things are starting to get really crazy between Palpatine and Anakin, and Palpatine is like really turning Anakin against Padme and like feeding his paranoia. I just can't believe that they cut the whole delegation of 2000 out of the movie, because yes, it is like a whole other subplot, but it is the Senator's last chance at like legally removing Palpatine from the Senate, and it includes Mon Mothma, Bail Organa, Padme, like these leaders of the rebellion that are so important later on. And I think it would have just tied in so well going into episode 4 and like going into the original trilogy. I just really wish they didn't pull this, because I think it's incredible and it adds so much to the story. And Anakin feeling betrayed by Padme, and Padme feeling betrayed by Anakin, and how him being a Jedi and her being a senator was never gonna work. It's just, try not to be bitter about it, but I guess I'll just keep asking for a 5-hour cut of Revenge of the Sith. Because they did film a lot of these scenes, like they exist, they just weren't included in the final cut, and I'm like, it's so good though. I'm gonna keep reading. I'm kind of worried. I think it's all downhill from here. Like in a good way, not in a good way, you know what I mean. I think the book's gonna be amazing. He's kind of in free fall right now, so let's see how quickly I start crying. My jaw was on the floor that whole chapter. Oh my god. It's still not over, but it's cutting back to Obi-Wan and Grievous. Oh my god. I enjoyed that so much more than the movie. I think it's just obviously a lot longer, and you're getting more of like Anakin's inner thoughts. This is just masterful, honestly. It feels like I'm reading it for the first time, which I think is very hard to do, considering all I do is think about Star Wars and the prequels all day, every day. So that was really, really good. I'm genuinely scared that I'm gonna have nightmares after reading this chapter. I don't know if I'm ready. Okay, I'm just gonna do it. I'm like fully traumatized. Page 300 on the ebook. Palpatine. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. This hurts so bad. I am back, but this time with a chicken. You don't like the mic? He does not like the mic. Where are you going? I think he wants to eat the Kindle, which I was hoping he would. I was hoping that he would leave this one alone because he does like to eat the book pages. He's obsessed with the phone. He loves playing with the phone and singing to the phone, so hopefully he does not think he thinks it's a phone. Mommy, this is a book. This is a Kindle Color Soft. Mommy, your singing is beautiful. I'm very concerned for this next chapter. 15 was traumatizing, 16 can only be worse, and it's titled Revelation. So, like, the beginning of the end. It's feeling like, Rome, let me crash out in peace. Thank you. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, there was a little chicken named Rome. Rome! 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 I just got to part 3 and it's titled Apocalypse. So, how are you feeling about that? He doesn't want to face it either. Boy, I will karate chop you. He always tries to eat my moles because he thinks it's seed. But it's attached to my body, Rome. You cannot eat it. Rome. Rome. Stop. My anti-Rome device. It's a fan, but he hates the wind. Now I've got you. Anakin is about to become Darth Vader, officially. And I don't know how I'm going to get through this. Can I just say, the writing in this is impeccable. There are like so many callbacks to the beginning of the book. The author like keeps things in his pocket until the right moment and then brings it back, and it's just like, oh, it hits so good. I think I'm gonna take a little breaky poo for my mental health, because I don't know if I'm ready for Darth Vader into Order 66. But it has been fun. It's been a fun read. The next chapter I am supposed to read is Order 66, and I'm not gonna lie, I've been procrastinating. I want to finish the book, but I'm just like, it's gonna be a hard read. I know it's gonna be a hard read, so I decided that I'm going to incentivize myself with a sweet treat. Big brain. I am a big coffee girly. I love drinking coffee, but it can get very expensive if you're going out and buying it. So I got some stuff that I can make some yummy drinks at home, including some seasonal flavors, like some fall pumpkin-y stuff, which I'm really excited about. So I'm gonna show you a little grocery haul real quick. The first thing I got is my favorite coffee, which is Stumptown. I'm actually not sure how you're supposed to pronounce that, but this is the Holler Mountain blend. It's creamy and caramel. It is so good. It's a little bit more expensive, but when I want to treat myself, I get this coffee. The next thing I got is some wildflower honey. I love honey in coffee. I don't know if that's like super popular, but if the coffee is good and you put good honey in it, it really brings out like the nutty flavors, which I love. So had to pick this up. And then I picked up this cold brew. Now, I have never tried this brand before, but I have been seeing it more and more often at the store. And this is like a creamy pumpkin cold brew. So I was like, this is perfect to kick off my Summerween festivities. It is still so hot where I live, but I don't care. I want it to be fall and I want it to be spooky season. So I think I'm gonna try this tonight. I hope it isn't too sweet. I didn't really check the sugar content, but I can also like dilute it with regular coffee. So we'll see. And then I finally picked up one of these milk frothers, which is what you use to make like cold foam or if you want like whipped cream. So I want to try to make some like vanilla cold foam. I think that would be really yummy on top of the pumpkin cold brew. And to make that, I just picked up some whipping cream and some vanilla syrup, and then I have milk in the fridge. And then the last thing I got is some caramel for like a caramel drizzle if I want. I love caramel. It's probably my favorite thing to add to coffee, so I thought this would also be yummy. Okay, now I am by no means a barista, so this is not a tutorial. This is just a girl trying to make coffee at home and save some money. I'm excited to try this. I have my cold brew here to shake it. I don't know how much, but ooh, it smells really good. It doesn't smell like too sweet, so I think it'll be okay with like just putting the cold foam on top. That'll be like the sweetener. I do want to add half and half though. So yeah, probably like that much. That looks like a lot, but it's the ice. It smells so good. It's like the right amount of pumpkin. It isn't too like sweet or like pumpkin pie smelling. Gonna mix that up. Oh my god, that is so good. Oh, I'm so happy. Now we need to make the cold foam. So I'm just gonna use this little like glass container I have that I usually put coffee beans in. Need a tablespoon. So I've never made this before, but people said to use like a 3-2-1 method. So it's like 3 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream, 2 tablespoons of milk, and 1 tablespoon of syrup. So like flavor. So I'm gonna try that and hopefully it works. This was probably not the best place to set the camera up, but you know what I'm doing. One, 2, 3, 1, 2. And we're gonna do 1 of syrup. That came out really fast. So this is what we've got. Very interesting stuff. Now I'm gonna use a frother. So I've never used one of these before. Hopefully it's pretty simple. I'm gonna use this low setting, so I hopefully don't make a mess. But here we go. I don't know if it's better to be closer to the bottom or the top. Fascinating stuff, I know. I think I did it. It's not perfect, but it's like pretty thick. Oh, that's yummy. Okay. I don't think it's bad for a first try. I mean, it tastes amazing, which is all that matters. I don't really care how it looks. Oh, yeah. Now it's time to read Order 66. Wish me luck. It is time. It is time to do the thing I've been putting off for at least a decade because I knew it would hurt too much, but here we are. My heart is racing. Okay, chapter 18, Order 66. He just said it. He just said the thing. Execute Order 66. I don't want to turn the page. You know, I could just put the book down right now and none of this happened, you know? I mean, the stuff at the beginning happened. They defeated Dooku. They defeated Grievous. Anakin and Padme are going to have a beautiful family. Okay, I'm doing it. I don't want to spoil this because if you're going to read the book, I want you to read this. But he just worked in the title of the book. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Matthew, you've outdone yourself. And there's 407 highlights of this line. Anakin! Why? Oh my god. There's one added line at the end of Anakin and Obi-Wan's duel. And I didn't think it was gonna hurt that much, but wow. I wish that was in the movie. I'm thoroughly upset. I hate Palpatine. Why? I can't even read. I'm crying so much. Obi-Wan. Oh, it hurts. I'm done. I finished it. I did it. I'm a mess. I've never cried harder reading a book. It was so good. It was so good. I know I look insane, and you're like, girl, you were just sobbing over this imaginary story. This is the story that made me fall in love with Star Wars. I watched 4, 5, 6. I was like, cool. I like this. I watched 1, 2, and I was like, I like this even more. 3 just like brought it all together for me. I am gonna have to sit with my thoughts for a little bit. I'm gonna have to process this because I am traumatized. I am I am feeling all the feels. I somehow feel hopeful, which people think I'm insane, but I think the final scene of Revenge of the Sith is the most hopeful scene in all of Star Wars, even though it is the most devastating movie as a whole. I don't know, there's just something about that like little blip of hope, that tiny little light being enough eventually. Um, it's just so good. It's just so good. Matthew Stover, round of applause. That was incredible. Yeah, I need to take a break. I need I need to process all of this. Stop crying, and I will come back to you guys once I'm a little more composed and give you like a full breakdown of the book, my favorite moments, and my final thoughts. Wow. That was so good. It is finally time to talk about Revenge of the Sith. This is one of the best books I have ever read. And I've read a lot of books. This is a book that I have wanted to read for so long. This is the novelization of my favorite film of all time. And Star Wars is pretty much my entire life. Put a lot of pressure on this book to be amazing, but it was incredible. It was everything that people said it was and more. And it made me love the film even more now that I read the book. Matthew Stover, you truly outdid yourself. This story expands upon its main characters in a beautiful yet devastating way. And I think where his writing really shines is through the inner monologues that the characters have. The author brings an entire new layer to the narrative by conveying their darkest thoughts and foreshadowing their eventual behaviors at the climax of the book. And the ending is unbelievably satisfying, and even though it's heartbreaking, you leave the story feeling hopeful for the future of the galaxy. It is so well written, and I honestly recommend this to any prequel fan. Now I want to talk about some of my favorite moments from the book. In my hard copy, I use sticky notes. I will not highlight or annotate in a signed copy. That's nuts. I did end up reading a good chunk of this book on my Kindle Colorsoft, which was amazing because I was traveling a lot throughout this vlog and I did not want to take my signed copy with me. This was a great way for me to highlight things and keep it all organized. There's a specific page just for my highlights. I really enjoyed reading on my Colorsoft, so I'm gonna go through some of my favorite quotes with you. I don't think I've ever highlighted so many moments in a book, especially in a Star Wars book, but there were just so many good moments, and Anakin is my favorite character, and there's just so much going on with him, and I'm just, Any Obi-Wan Anakin moment just absolutely destroys me. And there's even some moments with Qui-Gon mentioned, so. Obi-Wan sees so much of Qui-Gon and Anakin that sometimes it hurts his heart. At the very least, Anakin mirrors Qui-Gon's flair for the dramatic and his casual disregard for rules. Training Anakin and fighting beside him all these years has unlocked something inside Obi-Wan. It's as though Anakin has rubbed off on him and has loosened that clenched jaw insistence on absolute correctness that Qui-Gon always said was his greatest flaw. Obi-Wan Kenobi has learned to relax. He smiles now, and sometimes even jokes, and has become known for the wisdom gentle humor can provide. Though he does not know it, his relationship with Anakin has molded him into the great Jedi Qui-Gon always knew he might someday be. This energy, what could have been, what should have been, there's so much longing and yearning, and you know what happens, but that's what makes it so good. This next part of the book is not one specific quote, but it's really just the entire scene. And that is Count Dooku versus Obi-Wan and Anakin. The inner monologue of Count Dooku, of Obi-Wan, of Anakin, of Palpatine is so good. A chess match. This moment is truly where Anakin becomes Darth Vader. This is when he starts pulling from the dark side to become more powerful, to seek revenge on Count Dooku, and he's just waiting for Palpatine to give him the go-ahead. And once he gives it to him, he takes it. I lied. I am going to read one of the quotes. This is one of the best quotes in the entire book, in my opinion. This is about Dooku. His whole life, all his victories, all his struggles, all his heritage, all his principles and his sacrifices, everything he's done, everything he owns, everything he's been, all his dreams and grand vision for the future empire and the army of the Sith have all been only a pathetic sham. Because all of them, all of him, add up to only this. He has existed only for this. To be the victim of Anakin Skywalker's first cold-blooded murder. First, but not, he knows, the last. Then the blades crossed at his throat uncross like scissors. Snip, and all of him becomes nothing at all. Absolute peak. Absolute peak. That was so well written. I enjoy that honestly more than the movie. It's that inner dialogue that is so good. You see it on the actor's face when he realizes Palpatine played me, Anakin is replacing me as his new apprentice, I fucked up. But just the culmination of the entire thing, of the entire Clone Wars, of him leaving the Jedi Order behind and joining the Confederacy, and it was all for nothing. Him realizing that the actual plan was to replace him with a new and better Sith apprentice. Oh, that gotta hurt. It's gotta hurt. But that's the way of the Sith. You can't trust nobody, and the guy is always going to replace you. This next moment I want to talk about is after Padme and Anakin are finally reunited back on Coruscant. I just love seeing this insight about how Padme loves Anakin, because I feel like so many people are like, I don't get it. I don't see what she sees in him. He's just like this young, angsty brat. But she gets to see a side of him that no one else in the galaxy does, and vice versa. He also gets to see a side of Padme that no one else in the galaxy does. Yes, that is them being dramatic and tragic and everything, but that's just who they are. So yeah, I just wanted to read this excerpt from Padme's perspective, because it also adds to the tragedy of Anakin's fall, because he was a great man at one point. He could have been an even better man than those who came before him, but he made a choice. And that's why we got the whole story of Star Wars. He's not a perfect man. He is prideful and moody and quick to anger, but these faults only make her love him the more. Every flaw is more than balanced by the greatness within him. His capacity for joy and cleansing laughter, his extraordinary generosity of spirit, his passionate devotion not only to her, but also in the service of every living being. He is a wild creature who has come gently to her hand, a vine tiger purring against her cheek. Every softness of his touch, every kind glance or loving word is a small miracle in itself. How can she not be grateful for such gifts? Anakin Skywalker, the man that you are. I get it, girl. I get it. I'd be down bad too. Another thing I want to talk about are all of the deleted scenes that included Padme and her political influence in this film, because it honestly really upsets me. I really wish that these scenes were not cut. A lot of them were filmed and then just cut from the final draft, but we have the Delegation of 2000, which is the Senate's last attempt at legally removing Palpatine from office. This is also technically the creation of the rebellion. Padme and Anakin also argue a lot more in the book than they do in the movie. They are not agreeing on how the Senate and the Jedi and they themselves should be involved in this conflict or what they should do. And it wears on not just their marriage, but their trust in each other. They really are not trusting each other towards the end of the book. Padme is just so intelligent, well-spoken. She's such a strong leader, and I think she deserved more out of the film. If they included these scenes that they eventually deleted, it would have added so much more to the tension between Anakin and Padme, because of course they didn't want to set up Padme as a villain, but Padme is a pacifist, and Anakin becomes a dictator. So of course they're not going to be on the same page. So it only makes sense that by the end of the story, they are enemies. Yes, they are married, and yes, they're supposed to be a team, and yes, she's having his baby, but Padme is fundamentally for peace. And Anakin becomes the exact opposite of that by the end of the book. And yes, it is more tragic that she fully sides with her husband and believes in him and is in full denial that he could become this monster. I just wish we had a little bit more pushback from her. Now we've made it to Anakin versus Obi-Wan on Mustafar, and I highlighted a fat chunk of this part of the book. It was just so good. The emotional weight of everything that happened, like every single line hit. Blade to blade, they were identical. After thousands of hours in lightsaber sparring, they knew each other better than brothers, more intimately than lovers. They were complementary halves of a single warrior. This was not Sith against Jedi. This was not light against dark or good against evil. It had nothing to do with duty or philosophy, religion or morals. It was Anakin against Obi-Wan, personally. The man he faced was everything Obi-Wan had devoted his life to destroying. Murderer, traitor, fallen Jedi, Lord of the Sith. And here and now, despite it all, Obi-Wan still loved him. Ugh. I'm gonna cry just reading this quote. Like, this is the story in Star Wars that just gets me. It's brothers to enemies. It gets me every time. And we're going to finish things off with the last line of the book, which is one of the best moments. The culmination of the entire story coming to this moment was so satisfying. The dark is generous and it is patient and it always wins. But in the heart of its strength lies weakness. One lone candle is enough to hold it back. Love is more than a candle. Love can ignite the stars. Oh, it's so good. Now it is time to give my final review of this book, and I am giving it 5 fat stars. I am giving the Revenge of the Sith novelization the easiest 5 stars I've ever given a book. How do you tell a story that's already been told and already been so beloved? How do you bring more out of its characters, themes, and lessons? You go deeper. And that's what Matthew Stover did with this novel. This was one of my favorite reads of 2025. I cannot recommend this book enough. If you enjoy the prequels, if you like Darth Vader, or if you love a good tragedy, this book is for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading vlog. I had so much fun filming this for you and reading this book together. And I still have one more book in this trilogy, so stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for being here. May the Force be with you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!